map 7 for a while. So if you want a physical copy of map 7, once we're done here, go ahead and get that. We are missing a few boats. Chad, can you tell me the first one?
Yes. 1500.
Is 1500, what's the names?
I paddled that with Josh and Cheryl Hunter.
Josh and Cheryl, are you here?
They're not going to make it.
They're not coming? Okay, can you make a note about that somehow, Chad? And then what's the next one?
1040, the link letters.
The link ladders are coming from Canada. Link ladders? Kelly?
I haven't seen.
Okay, they're not here yet. We'll see. Next one.
1026, you guys checked in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're fine.
Okay.
1016, Ted Olson.
Yeah.
Did you check in, Ted?
15, sorry, 1015,
1015.
Alan McDonald.
Alan McDonald? Okay, we'll wait on that.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Other
Okay.
than the four guys that are filling out their waivers right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of things. For those people that want to follow along with your GPS tracking, and I'll tell you how to make sure you've got that operational in a second. But if your support crew or friends and family want to follow along at home, the best way I can tell you how to find that is to go, if you want to follow along with your phones right now, I'll tell you how to find that link. So go to twopaddles.org and then click on I'm going to choose to not allow Home Depot to follow my location right now. Okay, so once you're at Two Paddles, if you click in the upper right corner, the two lines, and go to More Info, and then go to Updates for Participants, the second option.
Yep.
And then go down to the bottom and click on MR 150 Updates. And then if you scroll down not very far at all, the first link, it says MR 150. If you click that link, that will bring you to the race map. And that's how anybody, you can send that link to anyone. And I'll try to post it on the Facebook page and the website soon. Can you take this call on? Or is it a Google Voice call?
So it's just you.
It's probably spam. Okay, and if anybody needs help figuring that out, we'll be available afterwards to help get that link. Okay, now in terms of, this is important, our GPS tracking this year is through WebScorer, and they've been great to work with, but it is a little bit of an experiment. So we can't say for sure it's going to work. We think it will. It's not required, but we do recommend it because it's helpful for us and for your support crews to know where you're at. So if you haven't done it yet, you just have to download the WebScorer app to your phone. If you have downloaded the app, go ahead and try to open it, and hopefully the app will remember your username and password. And if not, hopefully you remember your username and password. And if not, I think you can prompt it to send you a new password. So if you open up the WebScorer app on your phone, and not only will it track your location, and I think it'll send your location every 5 minutes, it's also going to automatically record your split times at, I think, 12 different locations throughout the race. And you'll be able to see those later. Now, that timing is not our official race timing. And so the split timing and all that, the GPS timing and tracking, that's just for entertainment purposes. It'll record your finish time, but that's not your official finish time. The only official finish time is the one manually taken by my volunteers at the race finish. So just know that. Okay, if you're in the WebScorer app, and if you're not, we can help you later. You just click on GPS self-tracking. And then you tap My Upcoming GPS Races. So again, in the WebScorer app, select GPS self-tracking, then tap My Upcoming GPS Races, and then hopefully the Mississippi River 150 is listed there. If not, again, talk to us afterwards. You'll just click on that, click on the Mississippi River 150, and then click Start GPS Tracking, and you can actually just start it right now. Or you can start it anytime between now and 3 o'clock. And then keep your phone in a dry place. This won't use a lot of charge. The screen does not have to be on for it to be using. Just keep it running in the background throughout the whole race, and then people will be able to follow where you're at. Okay. Some of you may have noticed we got sponsored by Liquid Death. Now, I have to tell you, I was skeptical. I was like, that's a silly name. It's a silly product, but I've kind of come around because it's not a plastic water bottle, which is a little better for the environment. And it's really designed for people going clubbing who don't want to drink alcohol, still want to look cool. So I think it's a good product. We have some in coolers on ice right here. Feel free after this meeting or break to grab these. We're also going to have these available at some of the checkpoints. We'll have coolers filled with this. So you'll be able to grab this if you want. And we do have some bottled water as well. Okay.
Quick question, what's the difference between the map that you said is on the two paddle site and the map that you said is on the web score site?
Well, I think you might be referring to the Google Maps map. They're
The link, the web score, so the link that you said that you met prior to talking about web score, that does not link to your maps, that links come from?
Are you talking about the link I said you get to through twopaddles.org?
Let's take it offline. There's that one that you just gave us, and then if you open up after we click on start our GPS tracking, another map comes up. Is there any difference between those two maps?
No, I don't think so.
The only one I can see is that on the one that you gave us at the very beginning, I can see lots of other people are on there. The one on my phone just says showing me stuff.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way it's supposed to be.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for everybody who's tracking you elsewhere and looking and wanting to see where you are, apparently there's two views. They can just see you or they can see everyone. So it should give people that option. Okay, when you checked in, you got a safety card. It's on waterproof paper. I recommend putting our official race phone into your phone as a contact and just put it in as Mississippi Race or whatever you'll remember. But it's important that you have our official race phone number in your phone in case you need to get a hold of us. And unless it's an emergency, we prefer you text the official race number. It's just in case you have a question like, hey, I think maybe I just saw lightning. What do I do? Or, hey, I'm dropping out of the race. That's the most important thing. If you are dropping out, make sure your support crew or yourself text that official race number to us. Okay. You can text that number or you can call it. And again, that number is 612-466-0026. And one of the race volunteers will be staffing that phone 24/7. 612-466-0026. Yep. One note about quitting the race. So the conditions are high and fast, similar to 2 years ago during our first race. During that race, about 85% of the people finished. So I'm assuming we'll have similar numbers this time. Last year, in much more challenging low water conditions, only about 55 or 60% finished. But I'm anticipating most of you will finish. And I do want to give you a piece of advice. You have 50 hours to finish. So if you reach your breaking point and it's only hour 30, just take a break. Because if you eat some food and you get some sleep and you drink some water, 5 or 6 hours later, or 3 hours, or who knows, or even 8 hours later, you might feel like $1 million. So if you're convinced, so tell your support crews, don't let me quit unless there's really not enough time left. Okay. So on the race course, you will see at all of the portages, except for one, you should see some race volunteers that are there to welcome you, and they should be wearing these yellow vests. So if you see a yellow vest, that's a race volunteer. If you have a question, you can go and ask them. Including at the Brainerd Dam, which is just over a mile in this direction. That's your first portage.
Will they be lit up at night?
The portages will be, yep. I'll talk about that in a second. Well, that is next on my list, actually. So all the portages at night will have a red blinking light. And it shines, you can see it at about 2 miles out if you've got visibility that far. So you'll see it. Yeah, there'll be a red blinking light marking all the portages. And when you get to a portage, just make sure you move your boat out of the way in case other people are coming behind you. And you can see it's pretty bright. In the dark, it's really bright. Okay. It's definitely bright if you look right into it. Okay. What else? Just a reminder, you can use portage wheels. And just so talk a little bit about the race course. We're going to launch here at 3 o'clock, and there's buoys placed out in the water that's you just can't be beyond those when we start. So you don't have to start from shore. You can be paddling around anywhere between those buoys and the beach. And then once we start the race, can you grab this one that's right there? You'll hear a very loud, obnoxious noise. See if I can get it to go. Something like that. We'll start the race. Because the Brainerd Dam is so close, the first year we did the race, we had a huge traffic jam. So we maybe went a little overboard and we added about 12 miles. So you're going to paddle 6 miles upstream, but there's not a lot of current. And then you'll paddle 6 miles back to the Brainerd Dam. Last year I told everybody it was 5 miles and they got mad at me. It is closer to 6.
Scott, I'll mention that the recreational tour, you are not paddling upstream. You can head directly to the Brainerd Dam and skip those miles if you're in the recreational tour division.
That's right. There's no rules in the, yeah, there is some rules, but less. There is an island out here, and last year most people went to the left of that island. Some people went to the right, and no one could discern that there was an advantage either way. So choose your own adventure. You will see a buoy just like the race starting line buoys 6 miles up, where you'll turn around and head back. And there'll be a safety boat, courtesy of a local guy here named Wayne. Wayne, are you here?
Coming back at 2:30.
He's coming back. Okay. So Wayne and a couple of yellow vest volunteers will be at the turnaround buoy. So just look for them. And they might take your picture too.
You counterclockwise?
Thank you. That's a very good question. It is counterclockwise. Thank you. Go around the turnaround buoy counterclockwise. I have to add that to my notes for next time. Okay. So a couple more things about portages. Your support crew can meet you at any of the portages except one, the first one, the Brainerd Dam. And that's because it's a restricted area. So it'd just be really hard to meet your support crew there. And it's only 12 miles into the race. But they can meet you at any other portage. And they can help, they can give you food and water and gear at the beginning of the portage, during the portage, end of the portage. They can carry stuff. The only thing they can't carry is your boat. You have to do that. But they can help you get your boat out of the water and out of the way within the first 100 feet of the portage trail. Okay. So once we're done with the safety meeting here, you'll be free to roam around about the cabin. And if you want to paddle and warm up, you can. Just make sure that you're back behind the starting line by 2:55. And we are going to aim to start precisely at 3 o'clock. So like I said, there'll be a safety boat that will start the race. So you'll see them out there, you'll see them count down and make the sign from the start of the race. Okay, Todd, if you can see if you can find the whiteboard and erase the price list and get a marker for me, that would be awesome. So, okay, so 12 miles to the first portage, that's the Brainerd Dam. And then from there, you've got another 12 miles to Crow Wing State Park. It's beautiful. You could meet your support crew there, but it costs money to get a vehicle into the park. So most people don't do that. But we do have stop at the Fort Ripley landing. It's not required. There's no required stops other than at the portages. So the Fort Ripley landing is the first one after the Brainerd Dam. It's 22 miles downstream. And once it's dark, there'll be a red light there. If you want to stop and meet your support group, that's a great place to do it. Some people stop there, some people don't. It's up to you. And we will have volunteers there. They're actually part of our mobile response unit. I don't know if Steve is here, but
Hey there.
there they are right there, and they'll have some other volunteers. So if there's an issue, we'll dispatch our mobile response unit to help you. But they will start at Fort Ripley. So say hi to them as you paddle past or stop. And there is a bathroom there. So that's 22 miles from the Brainerd Dam. The next place after that is the Little Falls Dam, which is a total of 51 miles from the time you leave here, the Little Falls Dam. So you'll likely get there when it's dark. Couple things to be aware of. You'll see, we'll put the red blinky light marking the Little Falls Portage on a bridge because there's a bridge right before the takeout. And you want to stay to the left because the dam comes in a hurry. It's right after the bridge. The takeout is wedged between the bridge and the dam. So when you see the red blinking light at Little Falls, it'll be on the left side of the bridge, and just you make sure you're on the left side of the bridge. I think last year some people were on the right and they had to execute some fancy maneuvers to get over. So
But you have to go under.
you have to go under the bridge. Thank you. You have to go under the bridge, and then the takeout will be right on your left, and we'll have a volunteer there. So the Little Falls Portage, like all of our portages, will be signed, and you'll see some yellow arrows on the ground that show you which way to go, and there'll be some signs as well. And this is really important to know. Because the water's so high, there's recirculating eddies below that dam that can be quite powerful. And obviously you don't want to get sucked back towards the dam. So there's some put-ins. There's two options for put-ins that aren't terribly far downstream. But if you don't like the look of those, you can keep walking along the river until you can't anymore. And when I did the whole river last May, this is what we did because it was even higher then. We walked as far as we could and we put in there. And that got us a little further past some of those eddies. Now, that's not to say that at the first put-ins, you can paddle out those eddies. I've done it. It's not too hard, but it can be a little intimidating, especially at midnight or whatever. So just know you have options at that put-in.
A quick question. When you walk as far as you can, are you out on that point? That's the worst of the turn?
No, you're not that far. You're not that far. And the first two put-ins are like real obvious, like they're meant to be put-ins. If you go further along the shore, there's no like designated put-in, but it can be done, especially in high water. So if you want to get past some of those recirculating currents, you could go down further. Okay, so then after Little Falls, you'll be in Zebulon Pike Lake very quickly. The water will peter out and you'll be on a lake for, I think, 9 miles to Blanchard Dam. And you'll see a red blinking light welcoming you there. So Blanchard Dam is administered by Minnesota Power, and we have an awesome contract with them. Unlike last year, we have a mowed area in the field there where people can set up tents if they want to. Support crew can sleep there, racers can sleep there. The only catch is we can't have tents in and around the parking lot like we did last year. They have to be in the mowed area, which is a little ways down the Portage Trail. And there'll be volunteers there to show you that when you arrive there, whether you're a support crew or a racer. Some racers stop and sleep there, some keep going. Totally up to you. But that's a great spot to catch a few hours of sleep later tonight or early tomorrow morning, is at the Blanchard Dam. And then the put in there, there could be some choppy waves there, and you'll probably hear a thundering. It's one of the biggest dams on the whole Mississippi. I think it's 51 feet. So it's a little fun. You just get out and maybe get a little water in your boat and It's not too bad. A lot of these look worse than they actually are. Okay. So after the Little Falls Dam and the Blanchard Dam, then you've got 24 miles to the next dam, Sartell Dam. And again, we'll have a red blinking light there. The important thing to know about the Sartell Dam is you're not going to see that red blinking light until you're almost to the dam, because you're going to be on the right side of the river, and it's kind of a slow bend to the right. So you're going to be saying to yourself, we're getting awfully close to the dam, and we don't see a red blinking light. And I'll say, just keep going, because you will see it eventually. And it's not super, well, I shouldn't say how powerful the current is, but you'll see the light. No one's had a problem in the past. It'll be good. And we'll have a volunteer there. Now, the thing with the Sartell Dam is, as some of you may have found out last year, if you get there at the wrong time, you'll be in the middle of a parade. So here's the official rules, and if anyone tells you anything differently, do not listen to them. The official rules are, let's see, the parade is at 10 a.m. on Saturday. So do your best to get there before the 10 a.m. or after like 11:30, I would say. And then you won't have to deal with the parade. If you get there between 10 and 11:30, then you have a choice to make. Either hang out at where you take out of the water, or try to navigate through the parade, which some people successfully did last year, and they got cheered a little bit. The people, but don't whack anybody in the face with your boat. So best strategy is not to try to forge through the parade. I would get there before or after, or sit tight. But whatever you do, whatever your choice is, the race timer does not stop, no matter what. So if you're taking a break, it's on the race clock. Okay, shortly after the Sartell Dam, you've got two more portages in quick succession. The first one after Sartell Dam is the Sauk Rapids. This is required. Please do not run the Sauk Rapids, especially at these water levels. Even if you're an expert whitewater boater, it's not covered by insurance. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Find the red blinky light on the left and take out at the required portage stop there. For the put-in, you can put in, you're going to be portaging around the biggest part of the rapid, the biggest drop. The first put-in, you'll run the lower rapids. The lower rapids are class 1. There is some rocks. There is some riffles. If you feel comfortable navigating that, put in there. I'll give you a hint. The biggest thing you need to do is you need to follow the relatively flat water out away from the shore and kind of towards the opposite side of the river to avoid the rocks. And if you need help finding all this on the custom Google map, that'll show you where these put-ins are. If you want to avoid the lower Sauk Rapids, you can portage to the second put-in, which is like another mile in Wilson Park. And just come find us afterwards. We can show you all this on the Google map so you can find this. Because we will have the portage routes signed to the first put-in, but not to Wilson Park. So you'll have to follow that on Google Maps. Okay. Shortly after that, like another mile or two, you'll come to the St. Cloud Dam. And again, that red blinky light is awfully close to the dam, but you'll see it. Don't go under the bridge, because that marks where the dam is. But just before the bridge, you'll see the red blinking light. The important thing to know about the St. Cloud Dam is that after a little while of portaging, towards the end of the portage trail, there's some incredibly steep, treacherous stairs. So go fast at all times, except on those stairs. Do not go fast on those stairs, because no one's gotten injured on them yet, and we'd like to keep it that way. As soon as you get to the end of the St. Cloud Portage, you're going to enter the scenic and wild Beaver Islands, incredibly beautiful part of the river. So when you put in there, you're going to want to get out to the middle of the river as quickly as you can so that you can choose which way through the 20 islands. There's lots of channels there. At the high water, you probably can't pick wrong, but get out a little bit so you give yourself some options. Did I just lose my... Thank you. Yeah.
The St. Cloud Dam with the stairs.
Yep.
How to have any help figure out who's close enough to the water.
Thank you for asking that. Yes, I make the exception. Your ground crew can help you get down those stairs. Thank you for asking. So after the St. Cloud Dam, it's free flowing all the way to the finish line. There is a staffed red blinky light stop at Noren Landing if you want to stop there. That just with 14 miles left, but you don't have to. And then the finish line is in Champlin, And here's what to know about the finish line. If everything goes according to plan, there will be a spectacular, inflated, massively huge, bright red finish line archway for you to paddle under. Last year, 2 people got to experience that, I think. It was real windy. But we bought more anchors this year, and the finish line is right where the Elm Creek comes in. And so when you go under the 169 bridge in Champlin, you'll see the finish line. If it's nighttime, it'll be all lit up. We've got big bright lights shining on it. If it's day, you won't be able to miss it. But the thing to know is the finish line will be on the right side of the river. And it's going to be pretty strong current there, but the finish line will actually be anchored in water where the mouth of the creek is. And because the creek is coming in, it's actually going to be anchored where there's almost no current at all. So just get yourself through the heavy current and then you head for the finish line archway. And once you hit it, there won't be any current anymore and all will be calm and peaceful and happy. Okay. Let's see.
What about getting your boat out of the water there?
Yeah, what's the question?
Where do you get your boat out of the water with that flare going on?
Oh, okay, good, great question. There will be volunteers to show you where to take your boat out. You can take out at the boat ramp that's closed to the public. It's for our use only. But the boat ramp is concrete, so I recommend going just a little further downstream to where there's some nice sandy, grassy areas to take out. The volunteers there can show you that. And in fact, you can paddle up into the mouth of the Elm Creek and there's more takeouts there too, in nice calm water. And the timers will be right there. And then at the other end of the parking lot, there'll be a boat corral. So if you want a place to stash your boat, the volunteers will keep an eye on it. You can then go get your car and come back to retrieve your boat. If you get there after 10 a.m. on Sunday, you'll still finish in that same spot, but the race store and the trophies and all that will just be at the other end of the parking lot at that time. And there'll be a boat corral. So if you finish on Sunday, you can put your boat in the boat corral. You can go up to the food truck, go up to the live music, hang out. That boat corral will be staffed until 6:30 with people watching over your boats on Sunday.
So just beware, there's going to be fireworks there Saturday evening.
No, they're Friday night.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Pretty sure they're Friday night.
Friday.
Yeah. And actually, I know that there's this carnival and this festival going on there, but the festival and carnival are not happening right down by the boat ramp at Mississippi Point Park. You have to get up out of the park. So we do have our own little area right down in the park. Yeah, question?
So, because times are being done manually, is there someone who's seeing you go under that finish line? Or-
They will see you. They're gonna be there watching you and they're gonna press a button to record your time. Yep. So
You're not gonna keep paddling fast until you get to the beach.
you do not. As soon as you go through the archway, you can relax. Yep. Great question.
I will say, if the archway is for some reason not up, there will be a buoy there. That'll demark a parallel line from the buoy to shore. That's what we had to do last year because of the wind. So hopefully the archway works this year, knock on wood, please. But if it's not, there will be a buoy out there. You would keep paddling until you pass the buoy.
Absolutely. This year we will have some snacks available at the finish line. There'll be some drinks available. And make sure when you get to the finish line that you check in at race headquarters because they'll have your t-shirt, your finisher medal. If you finish top 3 in your competitive division, they'll have a trophy for you. And then there'll be, the snack station as well. And pretty cool this year, there'll be a really cool decorated photo frame that says how far you paddled. And it'll have some logos and stuff and you can take a cool picture there. So just make sure you go to the race headquarters there and they'll take care of you there with all that stuff. As Todd mentioned, we do have a recreational tour option. So those people don't have to do this first 12 miles and they can get help on the portages. Their support group can help them. They can even drive. They can even skip some of the portages in St. Cloud. So their whole goal is they're competing against the clock. Can I paddle roughly 130 some miles in 50 hours? Still an incredible thing to try. And really, I have to say, we're all winning just by being here right now. It's a beautiful day. It's absolutely gorgeous on the water. there's no shame if you have to quit. Last year, you know, we did have some people quit. That's fine. Just the fact that you're even trying is, this is just an awesome venue. It's going to be, make sure you enjoy the beautiful scenery and enjoy the experience, because if this is at least a once in a year opportunity, if not once in a lifetime. Okay, the other thing at the portages, my volunteers are going to do a physical check off that you came through on a piece of paper. So if you could just make sure that they've done that, that's really their job to make sure that they checked off that your boat came through. But if you see a volunteer, just kind of make sure they know, oh yeah, they got my number, they wrote it down on the thing. Because that way we know when everybody's through the checkpoint and we can not worry about that anymore. So we'd appreciate your help with that. Okay. Is Josh from Camp Ripley here? Hey, Josh here. Okay, so this is a pretty cool feature of this race, that it's good we're actually telling people about this year, so you're not surprised. You're gonna go by an incredibly beautiful stretch of the river, a little ways down from here. It's like, it's 17 miles of basically wilderness on the right bank. That's a military camp where they do all kinds of training exercises. And Josh checked it all out, talked to all the right people. I think he is the right people. You might hear some artillery fire, the sky might light up, but you're not in any danger. It's much further away than you think it is. And but just don't be surprised if there's some loud booms or flashes in an otherwise gorgeous section of the river. And how cool is it that he's here and doing the race? So thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Okay. Okay, I'm almost done. You might see other through paddlers besides Devin when you're out there, so make sure you're nice to them, because in the last 2 weeks, there's been about 10 different groups that started at the headwaters, and some of them are on the course right now. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm almost there. At the finish line, if you know you're gonna come back on Sunday for the party, we hope you do, because there'll be live music and food, and you can sit at the Riverside Amphitheater and watch all the boats come by from the other races. Even more motivation, when you get to the finish line, if you know you're coming back to the party, they'll ask you, you can put your name on a raffle ticket, and the sponsor of the 150, Paddle Dynamics, thank you Paddle Dynamics, has given us a really beautiful Stellar mid-wing paddle, kayak paddle, that you can win in this raffle, along with 5 $50 gift certificates. And I don't know, Andy, are you here? Hey, Andy of Paddle Dynamics. Thank you. So if you're looking to upgrade your boat and get a faster boat, Paddle Dynamics is a great option. They've got a whole selection of surf skis and kayaks, and they have excellent customer service. Andy is actually in charge of kind of the Wisconsin, Minnesota area. So if you have questions about kayak gear and PFDs and surf skis, Andy's a great guy. And we really thank Paddle Dynamics for sponsoring this race. It makes a big difference. Andy, I think you'll be at the finish line, right? Right, so at Mississippi Crossings, which is just right above the park where you finish on Sunday, where the live music is, there are also going to be a number of paddling organizations with booths and some river-related nonprofits. And Andy's organization is one of them that will be there. So on Sunday afternoon, you can talk to them, and they're just full of knowledge. Really great. So thank you so much, Andy. Okay. There will be on Sunday afternoon a safety boat near the finish line as well. And if you're out there on Sunday, you'll see paddlers from the other races. Just a quick note, we do have a relay team in this race. We're really excited. This is our first ever relay team. And so they should, the relay team should just check in with me after this meeting so I can make sure to set you guys up to have a good experience. And make sure you, okay, I gotta get going here. Make sure you have your nighttime lights on at night on your boat. At least have a light you can shine if a boat is coming. And we ask that you have some kind of light facing backwards that people can see. Okay, that helps. Okay, this is the most important part of this whole time, is this thing, and I'm sorry this is taking so long. I'll hurry. I don't care how good of a paddler you are, the odds that you might tip in this race, I'm just telling you. You might tip, because at night, it's almost impossible. There's not very many rocks, but you could hit one. There could be an unexpected log in the river. So the best way to handle this is just to know that it could happen and be ready in case it does. And the most important thing to do is to have some dry clothes in a dry bag that you leave sealed, and you just put those on if you get tipped over in the water. So don't panic if you end up in the water. Stay with your boat, swim over to shore, eat something. When you get to shore, try to eat something, and then put some dry clothes on and empty the water out of your boat, and you'll be fine. It is supposed to get down to about 50 degrees, I think, at night. So just make sure you have a winter cap with you and some dry clothes. Okay. Make sure your life jacket is on at all times. That is a required race rule. Make sure to eat and drink a lot starting now.
And speaking of that, there's some coolers on that side of the picnic shelter. There's Liquid Death, canned water and bottled water. That's free. Help yourself. Grab one.
If you take a break and go to a hotel, that's allowed. Just make sure you keep your tracker on. And just make sure your support crew knows where you are. We've got a beautiful forecast for the race. Todd, anything else?
If we didn't take your picture, if you registered right at the very end, if you can come please see Brad so we can take your picture before the race. That's all I have.
Thank you.